What's up, guys? Welcome to this video. Today we'll talk about a simple question that you can ask yourself in almost any situation, and it will end about 95% of your relationship struggles. So from my own work, I know that the guys who benefit most from this question usually have the same few problems. So if you feel like you have the same few arguments with your partner again and again and you're running around in circles, or you have an unsatisfying sex life that's either not as frequent or as fun as you want it to be, or you feel like you lack respect and support in your relationship, you don't get enough of that, or you feel like your relationship sucks out more energy than it actually gives you and doesn't feel really nurturing, then this one is for you. To show you why this question is so important, let me start with a situation we all know. I swear every man has been there. You want to go for dinner with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your partner, and they ask you, so where are we going to eat? And now you have to make that decision. And then you say, okay, I'm in the mood for Italian. Well, how about Italian? And they're like, I'm not really feeling it. So like, okay, what about Indian? Not really in the mood for that either. And then you start wondering like, okay, what the fuck do you actually want? Like, if you're not in the mood for that, just tell me what you're in the mood for. Every man has been in this situation, and it's a classic example of the exact same dynamic that leads to the problems I mentioned earlier. Why? Because it's a perfect example of masculine and feminine energy in action. The feminine energy in that case wants to relax and enjoy. She doesn't want to make a decision or plan or think too much about it. She just wants to embrace the experience of going for dinner. To make that happen, the masculine energy has to make that decision and has to do the planning and has to decide on a place. But of course, it has to do so in a way that views the needs or respects the needs of the feminine and of course his own as well. And a healthy masculine energy has no problem to do that. Just like a healthy feminine energy has no problem of letting the masculine take the lead and letting the masculine make that decision and actually helping him in making that decision. So what does healthy masculine and healthy feminine energy actually look like? It's very simple. Healthy masculine energy is about embracing leadership, providing clarity, making rational decisions, providing space, having emotional strength and resilience, and also drawing healthy boundaries and taking responsibility. Healthy feminine energy is a lot about relaxing, enjoying, providing intuition, nurturing, vulnerability, and embracing. If you want healthy feminine energy from your partner, you have to provide healthy masculine energy. That's how it works. Opposites attract. It's that polarity that keeps a relation thriving and healthy. However, the problem is that we all have trauma, we have patterns, we have everything that makes it hard for us to always step into our healthy masculine energy and get this cycle of healthy reciprocation, healthy polarity going. And this unhealthy masculine energy, which comes from wounded masculine core, is just as destructive as unhealthy or wounded feminine energy. I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, I had a girlfriend, and at the time we were a very good match because we both had very unhealthy and toxic patterns. So we just had this crazy attraction for each other. And she very much thrived on creating drama and problems because then someone could come in and solve these problems for her, which made her feel loved. I very much thrived on solving these problems for her because that made me feel loved, and I've got a lot of self-worth out of that. Now, as you can imagine, this is a very toxic combination. So in me, this created this dynamic where I would feel responsible for her emotions. So whenever she felt bad, I rushed in to solve the problems. I didn't actually hold the space for her to process her emotions herself. And I also often neglected and invalidated them because if she had these negative emotions, I felt bad, and I couldn't really distance myself from it and say, okay, she has these negative emotions, but this is her responsibility. It also meant I often suppressed my own needs in an unhealthy way to cater to hers because I didn't want to make her feel bad. And obviously this caused resentment in the long run because I subconsciously made her responsible for it and got really angry with her for suppressing my own needs. And this all came from unhealed trauma, from a wounded masculine, from the ego, and from fear. Had I led with healthy masculine energy instead, I could have, employed emotional intelligence. I could have held the space. I could have stood up for myself, for my own boundaries, for my own needs as well, without feeling bad about it. And that overall would have created a much healthier relationship dynamic and would also have empowered her to work on her subjects and her emotions. And that's really what you want in the end, right? You don't want a partner that you have to look after all the time. You want someone who can actually manage their own emotions, manage their own needs, and then you can thrive together and build something greater together. So now you can see how this wounded masculine will make it very hard for you to show up in your relationship the way you want to show up, because it will make you incapable of leading properly, because you'll always have insecurities. You'll always second guess yourself. You'll always question yourself as soon as you run into an obstacle, or as soon as she says she doesn't like something the way you do it. And maybe you're doing things quote unquote wrong, and it's worth reflecting on them and seeing if there's another approach. But more often than not, there are also situations where you just have to make a decision and stick with it. And if you lack that healthy masculine energy, it's going to be very hard, because you constantly question your self-worth, or you make it dependent on what you can achieve for your partner and the results you get on the outside, rather than how you feel inside yourself, about yourself, and the effort you put in. It also guarantees that tons of your arguments will blow up and will trigger you, because you automatically take responsibility for their emotions, and you get hurt and triggered very easily. And this creates an explosive mix where like the smallest arguments can blow up big time. I had like hours of screaming matches back then about like a teacup or something, that someone forgot on the counter. It's crazy how things can blow up with like the smallest things. And pretty much the worst part about it is that the whole construct, the whole thing will constantly make you think like you have to perform, right? One of the core beliefs of the wounded masculine is that I am not worthy unless I perform. I am not worthy unless I do this. I am not worthy unless I suffer and I sacrifice. And it's simply not true. But if you live according to this belief, it will make it very hard to enjoy your quality time together. It will make it very hard to relax yourself into the relationship, to receive the support and the love and the respect you want, because you keep yourself from it. So in the beginning of the video, I promised you a simple question that you can use to end your relationship struggles and disrupt this dynamic. And here it is. Whenever you find yourself in a situation in your relationship that feels unhealthy and it doesn't feel the way you want it to be, ask yourself this: how can I supply healthy masculine energy to this situation? So what does the healthy masculine do in an argument? He doesn't rush in to fix things for her. He doesn't provide solutions without listening. He doesn't feel responsible for her emotions. Instead, he just holds the space. He asks, what do you want? What do you need? What emotion do you want to express? I'm here. I'm listening to you. I'm holding the space. But he also sets boundaries for himself in a healthy way. So if she keeps screaming at him, disrupting him, disrespecting him, he will not get triggered and increase the energy of the ego that's already in the space. But he will politely draw a boundary and remove himself from the situation and say, look, I can see you're triggered, but this is not the kind of behavior that I want in my life, and I don't think it's constructive to this conversation right now. And of course, this will cause some negative emotions in her and maybe trigger her, but he doesn't take responsibility for her emotions. He is fine with causing negative emotions in someone if it means he gets to respect himself and draw healthy boundaries. And the funny thing is that this will actually create more trust and respect from her as well, because she sees, oh, he's like in his masculine energy in a healthy way. He stands up for himself. I can't pull shit with him. I actually want to step up my game too, because this seems really powerful and really healthy to me. So it will actually inspire the people around you to become better and to step up their game as well and to grow with you. And of course, this will take some time and it will cause a backlash in the beginning. But if I look at my own story in my own past, it's exactly what happened to me. So once I started connecting more with my healthy masculine energy, once I started healing and expressing healthier behaviors and thoughts, I was much more able to inspire the people around me. I attracted healthier women. I attracted healthier behaviors from the women I was with, I was less insecure about myself and I could show up from a place of power. And all of this got the women I was with to be in their healthy feminine as well, which then got me what I wanted and craved, meaning the emotional support, the nurturing, all the nice feminine energy when they're all bouncy and lovely and happy around you, inspiration, the connection with their intuition, the respect, the love, everything. So it's really like a domino effect for your relationships. You are the man, which means you should be more in your masculine energy, which means you are the one who has to take responsibility for where you are and get that whole thing started. So start with this question. As I said, anytime you're in a situation you don't like in your relationship, ask yourself, how can I supply healthy masculine energy to it? That is ultimately what it needs, because it will kick off that cycle where you supply healthy masculine energy. She can be in a healthy feminine and everything will get better. And each of you will get what they want from the other and your relationship will thrive. I want to end today with a simple but mind-blowing quote by Ram Dass that sums everything up really well. And it goes, the best thing you can do for me is to work on yourself. The best thing I can do for you is to work on myself. So if you want to know how to make that happen, how to supply that healthy masculine energy to your relationship that will help your partner give you all the respect, support, and love that you want, you can book a free call with me. The link is in the description, and I'll be happy to take a look at your individual situation and help you figure out a plan to move forward. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, give it a subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. And in any case, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.